gonna fall. What? Fuck you! Kiss ass piece of shit!
You're just upset he kisses my ass and not yours for once.
He just tried and I fucking reject his ass.
Joke's on you, I'm into that shit.
His love is cheap.
We love you.
Doesn't matter. Do you have groupies too, Thomas?
Yeah.
What the fuck? You have to beat them up for me. Only I'm allowed to have groupies and it's you.
Try and find them.
I know he does. It's really disturbing.
I'll be honest with you. You're the reason I can't fan.
That's really sad.
I don't really care about the rest. There really is nothing to tell.
May I recommend therapy?
Therapy.
Okay, I am curious. Who here was not for 5th gen and is here for this? Wow. Welcome. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ash Can't Catch 'Em, an analysis on how Ash is just the worst fucking trainer. Together, we are the foundation for the preservation of Gen 1 Pokemon. I'm Max.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Thomas, the unpaid intern.
And you better not fucking forget it. And you can follow us on Twitter at 5th Gen, not PKMN, where we tweet about Jackie Chan adventures or shit. We also tweeted about our Discord because I forgot to put our fucking Discord link in our slides because I'm a goddamn idiot. Also because my laptop can't pick up internet at the con, which is going to be a thing later. Anyway, intern.
Yes.
You wanted to do a panel about Ash.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you want to go?
Well, in order to...
Because we have an audience, so you need to figure your shit out pretty quick.
Well, in order to understand how bad of a trainer Ash is, we need to examine the baseline of a good Pokemon trainer, in this case, Go. Yeah! Go, as you can see, just does everything better than Ash in every way possible. In Legendaries, he just casually catches a Suicune, while Ash thinks it's a good idea to punch Mewtwo.
Yeah. Psychic is good against fighting. That doesn't work.
Classic 10-year-old just throwing hands when things don't work out. How do you think Ash's mom is at the Target when she brings him? I want a new toy, Mom!
Ash isn't much better, as he puts his Pokemon through strenuous physical and mental tasks, only so they can eventually become friends after 24 episodes or so. And meanwhile, there's Go, who becomes friends with Pokemon much quicker because he's, a good guy. And as you can see, he's having a sleepover with all of his newly caught bug friends, while Ash and Pikachu, being the little shitters they are in the timeout zone. This is Ash's most recent... We'll get there.
Okay.
As you can see, Ash's most recent victory, it looks fine from the surface, but someone's missing. That's right. It's Mr. Mime, his adopted father, his father figure, who is strangely absent from such an occasion.
Now, unlike Go, who can just, hang out with 20 Pokemon at once, Ash has a very strict limit because all of the games Ash plays are limited to 6 players. So, him and his friends, they're playing Terraform and Mars. And then, a new Pokemon shows up. Gengar wants to play. You can't fit another player, so Ash had to make the tough call and cut Mr. Mime from the friend group.
Ash is also really bad at dealing with Team Rocket. They've plagued him for many seasons. While Go has no such struggles. In fact, he steals Pokemon from Team Rocket. He frees them.
Wait, I want to try this out real quick. Okay, so stand up. I think we have an approximate height disparity here. So I'm just going to do this and see if you can do anything. Okay.
No, you're Go. You're better than this.
Oh, yeah.
That's how Ash
just
does
punch
it.
his hand.
No, go. Just walk around it or something.
Just walk.
Yeah, just see, Go can just figure this shit out. Like, Ash is a goddamn idiot.
And
Forehead was very sweaty.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, my bad. Ash can't dance. This is the worst. He's proven time and time again to be just the worst at dancing. The only time he's good is when it doesn't count. And look at that stanky leg. I mean, it's kind of stanky, but it could be stankier.
That thing is day one con stanky leg. So now that we've just done a comparison, let's talk about badges, because Ash can't fucking win those. I watched every goddamn gym battle episode in Kanto just to make this goddamn slide. So, we will begin with the Boulder Badge. Now, in this episode, Ash shows up to Pewter City with Misty, and Misty's like, hey Ash, do you want some help fighting Brock? I know what's up. And Ash is like, no, you're a girl. I'm not gonna listen to you. So he goes into the gym, and he tries to fight a goddamn rock snake with a fucking Pikachu. And it goes as well as you would fucking expect, because Ash doesn't know his type charts, despite growing up in this goddamn world. I learned it 5 minutes into the Prima strategy guide. What's his excuse? So at this point, Ash has decided he needs to consult help. But does he consult, his friend? No, she's still a girl. He instead consults the random rock salesman on the outside of town. This dude is selling rocks in Pewter City. He has a couple rock slurs. So, his plan is we're gonna go to the abandoned water mill. We're gonna hook it up to a generator, and we're gonna hook the generator up to Pikachu. But there's no water flowing. So again, could mystery help? Not allowed. Ash has to power the water mill by foot. And he explodes the generator. Now I tried to Google how much energy it would take to input into a small generator to cause it to explode, and I didn't get an answer, but I'm certain I'm on an FBI watch list. TLDR, Ash is just giving Pikachu some fucking steroids. And it doesn't work. Pikachu gets bodied again, though this time he does start a fire, because PG&E and all that shit. And because the gyms have OSHA regulations, there is a sprinkler system in the gym. So what happens is, after the match is over, Pikachu says, fuck it, and attacks Onyx again anyway. And Ash gets the badge. Next we have the Cascade badge. Ash shows up in a aquarium. And I would like to note, I know that it's already bullshit, we can agree, that the Pokemon world has free healthcare. Not only is their healthcare free, so are their fucking aquariums. I hate when I have to pay $25 to go see a shark and there's a goddamn field trip of kids in front of me, because it's socially unacceptable to kick some 6-year-olds out of the way to look at a goddamn shark. Here, it's free, I can wait. Anyway, all the Pokemon there are dead. Gary did some reverse Nuzlocke shit and just took out all the Pokemon. So the gym leaders were going to just give Ash a badge for showing up. Here you go. But Misty's not about that. She's like, no, I'll fight him. So she fights him. Butterfree uses Stun Spore. Staryu jumps in the water to get rid of it, which, I mean, that's unfair. It's not how it works in the game, but that shouldn't be allowed. At one point, Misty says, Staryu looks like they're in real pain. Ash replies with, how can you tell? It doesn't even have a face. If you note the pronouns here, Ash won't even acknowledge Staryu as a living thing. Because Ash is a piece of shit. Anyway, Team Rocket shows up, and their plan is to steal all the water because they're LA, I guess. And then they give Ash stops them. They give Ash a badge. So at this point, I'm already drunk, and I don't even drink. So that was a wild ride. So I had Andrew watch an episode for me.
Yeah, and I did the Thunder badge. So Ash gets to Vermilion City, goes in, and promptly gets bodied in regular fashion by Lieutenant Surge.
When is he not promptly bodied?
Honestly, not sure.
Yeah.
So this turns into a whole medical drama. Pikachu gets horribly injured, and the nurse offers him some performance-enhancing stones to maybe up Pikachu's stats so it can fight Raichu on fair game. And Ash is like, no, I'm not about that. No drugs for Pikachu. The only drug we need is speed. Because that's also a drug? God damn it, Ash.
I mean, he already did steroids, so...
Yeah. But anyways, so Pikachu goes in, uses agility, and I think this is Gen 1 because speed helps the crits or something, because Pikachu wins this time. He just hits it really hard and can't get hit. I don't know how it works, but Ash does actually win a gym battle. It just took him 2 tries and some drugs.
In game logic, Pikachu's faster than Raichu, which is, sorry, in anime logic, doesn't follow game logic. Anyway, now Ash is going for the Marsh badge in Saffron City because he's going out of order. So he shows up and he's greeted by some cultural appropriators who have informed him he's the millionth visitor to Saffron City. He then gets to first base with some drag queens, and then they steal Pikachu. And I would like to note, if you notice, I don't remember, I'm going to say that's Jessie, I don't care. You notice Jessie is wearing gloves to hold Pikachu, but is still pressing Pikachu against herself, which... I don't think the gloves are gonna work here, but Pikachu's a fucking idiot and goes with it, because let's be honest, Pikachu wants out of this relationship. And unfortunately for him, this goddamn twerp saves his ass. So anyway, it's the next day, so they're going to the gym, and there's this old guy outside, and he's like, that gym's full of psychics, and like, I don't know about that, so they go inside, and the gym's full of psychics. Ash tries to fight Sabrina, he loses, she turns them into dolls. They escape. And Ash is told, well, if you want to beat Sabrina, you need a ghost-type Pokemon. Because, again, the people who made the anime don't realize that all of the ghost Pokemon in Gen 1 are part poison and weak to goddamn Kadabra. So, again, in the games, Lavender Tower, it's this great holy place. You go, bury your Pokemon, kill some other people's Pokemon, you know the vibe. In the anime, though, it's just a goddamn frat house. Like, it's just Gengar and Haunter watching reruns of Three Stooges. It gets to the point where when Ash challenges them to a Pokemon battle, it becomes a silly face contest. And it ends as all silly face contests do, with Ash fucking dying. So they just take his ghost out, and they hang out. Ash does some, minor crimes with them. They return him to his body like, hey, you're alive now, isn't that cool? And Ash is like, I died? Anyway, hey, Haunter, want to hang out? Haunter's like, yeah, sure, bro, let's do it. So they go back to Saffron City, and Ash challenges Sabrina, and Haunter's nowhere to be fucking seen. Just out playing golf. So anyway, battle doesn't go well for Ash. It ends with Misty and Brock being turned into dolls. Ash escapes because as a white man, he cannot be held accountable for his own actions. And then goes back to the gym hoping Haunter will actually help this time. And Haunter doesn't help. Pikachu has to fight Kadabra, but Haunter does what any like red-blooded American would do, which was nuke the shit out of Sabrina's gym. And Sabrina thinks it's goddamn hilarious, which breaks her concentration long enough for Ash to win the fight. Is it okay that Ash literally bombed the gym leader with a second Pokemon in the middle of combat? Apparently, yes. I think that if this were Final Tactics Advanced, the judge would give him a red card, but that's not what's going on here. Next up, we have the Rainbow Badge. So Ash shows up, and Erica's like, no boys are allowed. And that, that Gamergates Ash real quick. So he shows up to the gym in drag, challenges all of the women to a wrestling match, and gets fucking bodied. Team Rocket shows up, yada yada yada, Ash gets a badge. Next we have the Soul Badge. This one starts, like, in media res, we're already in the fight. Ash is fighting Koga. He's got his Pidgeotto and Charmander. Koga sends out a Venomoth. And because of how type advantages work, Venomoth wins. And then, like, at this point in the episode, it just becomes about Psyduck doing Psyduck shit. And honestly, like, that's not what I'm here for. So I opened my Fidelity app and I started, like, just looking at stocks. And the thing that bothers me about stocks is a lot of them will say that they're, like, sustainable and environmentally friendly. And then, like, all their money's in fucking Exxon and Chevron and this bullshit. So I was really mad about that. And while that happened, Ash won a badge. I should have paid attention, but, like, next up's the volcano badge. Ash and friends are on, Jeff Bezos' mega yacht. Just ferrying their way into Saffron City. Cinnabar Island, which has become a tourist destination. They show up at a snazzy bed and breakfast that doesn't charge you to stay, but instead forces you to go through a series of riddles. Presumably, if you fail the riddles, it becomes a Saw-like situation. Anyway, Team Rocket shows up, and that nice dude with the hair turns out he's Blaine. Who would have fucking thought? I know, plot twist. Ash fights Blaine. He has Squirtle out against Blaine's Ninetales. Type advantages, Squirtle loses. Sends out Charizard. Blaine withdraws Ninetales. In the anime, they say this means Ninetales is out of the match. That's not how it fucking works in the game, so I'm not marking Ninetales as out of the fight. I want to be clear. But Blaine does withdraw Ninetales, sends out Rhydon. Type advantages, Rhydon wins. Ash sends out Pikachu, Blaine keeps out Rhydon. Type advantages, Pikachu wins. Magmar comes out, yeets Pikachu off the fucking island, because apparently Seismic Toss is the best goddamn move in the anime. Anyway, the volcano explodes. So Ash is like, I know, I'll help fight the volcano, because that's easier, like it's a goddamn episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender. So Ash fights the volcano, wins, and goes, hey Blaine, I helped save this city. Can I get a badge? And Blaine's like, what the fuck? That's not how this works. You actually have to beat a gym leader to get a badge. You know that, right? Can we, like, audit that shit? And then Brock and Misty are very quiet. Anyway, a fight happens. Charizard fights Magmar. Charizard wins because for 5 minutes he decides he respects Ash, and then, Aesop amnesia, Charizard forgets again. And then Misty mentions her bike. Still hasn't gotten her bike back yet. I don't know. Anyway, final badge. We're almost fucking done. We have the Earth badge, which again is an Earth. Opens mid-fight. Giovanni's fighting Gary. Gary sends out Nidoking. Giovanni sends out Kingler. Gary, very good Pokemon trainer, realizes Nidoking does not have a type advantage here. He should withdraw Nidoking. Competent trainer, who's he send out? Arcanine, yeah. Arcanine doesn't know Wild Charge yet. This is Gen 1. So of course, because of type advantages, Arcanine wins. Did they even play the games? Giovanni is not putting up with this shit. He sends out Mecha Mewtwo. Fade to black. Ash fights Team Rocket. They have some loner Pokemon like it's goddamn Pokemon Stadium. Ash wins, gets the badge. So, of the 8 badges, which ones did Ash win legitimately? The Boulder badge, where he fucking took out the Onix after the fight? No. The Cascade badge, which he won because if he used Pikachu, he would have won? No. Thunder badge, I guess. I mean, he did some drugs, but it worked. Drugs are cool. Yeah, winners do drugs. Rainbow badge, no. Soul badge, I don't know, I wasn't paying attention. Marsh badge, no. You can't have a second Pokemon lay an IED on the gym leader. Volcano badge, sure, I guess. And then Earth badge, no, you don't win by beating up the nephew of the gym leader. That's not how this fucking works. Like, if that's how it worked, I would go find Donald Trump Jr., beat the shit out of him, and that's how I would get... I don't want the real estate empire, actually. That's probably in the red. Anyway.
So, Ash is a champion and a monarch, but he doesn't deserve it. All of his tournaments have just been not great, very bad, undeserved. Here's why. For the Indigo League, his first one, Ash goes up against Richie, who is a better version of him in every single way, and because of that, he loses. Pretty badly, actually. Charizard doesn't even listen to him, and Professor Oak just says, GG, you fucked up, go next. So on to the Orange League, where it's Ash versus Drake. Wrong Drake. That's my Drake.
Oh man, a fuck boy.
And Ash wins, but the Orange League, it's a tourist trap. Gyms are snowball fights and sledding, and the badges are shells you get off of Etsy, so,
I feel like I could just, like, find that in the ocean. Like, this one looks good, maybe it should be a badge.
The Silver Conference is an interesting one, because Ash runs the Olympic Flame for some reason. And then he beats his rival Gary. And it all goes down to Charizard versus Blaziken. And here's an artist's rendition of what that looks like. The Evergrande Conference is Pikachu, as always, versus Puss in Boots. And this goes about as well as you'd expect. We know who wins. Come on, GG, Ash loses. Let's move on. This one's boring. And the Battle Frontier is an interesting one. Ash needs to take down the Frontier Brains, some of the most like badasses in all of history. And he does. He takes them out in a Kill Bill style fashion. And you know what? He wins this one. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Good job. You won one. Congrats.
Does it count?
It's not a champion. It's just, it's a side quest.
Okay. It's post-game content.
Exactly. In the Sinnoh League, Ash lets this happen for an uncomfortable amount of time. And then he beats his rival Paul and then loses to a guy with Darkrai and Latios. Like, he loses to an actual cheater, but to be fair, so would you.
I feel like Tobias is just most people's Pokemon loadouts at the time.
He uses a Game Shark.
Yeah.
100%.
Again, most people's loadouts.
In the league that didn't really happen, there's Axie, you see it, certifiably not a Pokemon.
Yeah, no.
Well, it gets lost and kind of just dies on its way back to its home planet. And then Ash loses to some guy who can't count. And I'm serious, this guy doesn't know a full battle is 6-on-6. He thinks it's 5-on-5. So, and Ash loses to him still. The one person Ash was supposed to win, the one person who was worse than him, he lost. And then he loses to Alon, who has an entire foot on, my man.
Wonder what that's like.
The battle goes down to Water Shuriken versus Blast Burn, and Water Shuriken loses because of course it does.
Type advantages, man. That's how they work.
Greninja is terrible in my opinion.
Okay,
Don't judge me.
keep going.
And then Ash gets crucified. The Manalo Conference. That's when Ash actually wins, but it doesn't make sense. That's how the most wholesome rival, Ash's Pokemon, falls asleep and doesn't battle, but in a misruling, he's given a second chance, in which case Rowlet gets up, beats Hal, and Ash wins the whole thing because there's like one trainer who has a full team other than him.
I mean, Hal isn't even like a real trainer.
No, that's not even the battle we like, though. There it is. And the final one, which is Ash's most recent victory, it's a bit longer. It's Ash versus Steven. And Ash kind of just plays his music so loud Steven can't hear, and Steven loses. Next is the hotly anticipated Ash versus Cynthia, where Ash asks Cynthia to step on him, and she's so disgusted she throws the match. And finally, it's Ash versus Leon, the Monarch, his final test, the big guy he needs to beat. In a fair battle, only one gimmick is allowed. That's important. In a fair battle, only one gimmick is allowed. And Ash is like, you know what? That's a good idea. This is a fair battle, one gimmick. So his Gengar goes big, and then his Lucario Mega evolves, and he uses a Z move. And his Dracovic has like a weird primal boner, and that kind of counts. And then his Pikachu goes big. And then he wins. So, one gimmick, that was fair. New Monarch. Come on.
See, drugs win you games. Drugs are for winners, guys.
Alright, and it wasn't even just the TV show that had some issues, so I'm going to talk about how the movies had some issues too. First off, will they fucking learn a type chart?
I feel like we have established this several times. The
They're
answer
not
is
this difficult.
no.
Look, this is very simple. It's just a triangle. So, but
Yeah, this is a love triangle.
Yeah, both-
We have Ranma, Akane.
yeah, both animators and Ash need to learn it because in the opening crawl of the first movie, Ash gets attacked by some pirate guy who's got a Venomoth, a pincer, and
Thank
a
you for the
golem.
coffee, intern.
And then when they actually went to reanimate it, they realized how badly they messed up, so they actually retconned what Pokemon attacked Ash. But really, if he understood type charts, like that whole mirror Pokemon on Pokemon thing arc would have been done in 10 minutes. Because guess what? Water on water, that can take a while. That's not very effective.
Is a Vaporeon fight an orgy waiting to happen?
I refuse to answer this question on principle. But Pikachu will be really good against that Vaporeon. Nidoqueen can stomp on that Pikachu. And so if he just shifted some things, that battle would have been over in 10 minutes, and he'd have a full, fresh army to take on Mewtwo. Also...
Yeah, but he threw hands. He was fine.
Clearly. And then, moving on, Ash really needs to understand stranger danger. If you get an invitation from a mysterious, unnamed person that calls you a Pokemon master when you've just barely set out on your journey, telling you to come to a strange island, I wouldn't go. It's a trap.
Can we talk about how much Brock clearly wants to fuck that hologram?
Is there anything Brock doesn't want to fuck?
Me.
No, I think he would. But,
No one's standards are
and then,
that low.
Though, brief aside, we have the cultural appropriators back, and they do a lovely job of stopping a Dragonite moving at Mach 1 with a frying pan. So cheers to them. Though sadly they removed the cultural appropriation in the reanimation. I don't know why. Also, just the whole reanimation style.
It's Viking erasure, and I will not stand for it.
Also, if you see two literal gods going at it, where do you think you want to put yourself? If putting yourself in the middle of this is your choice, well then you deserve to die like Ash. Honestly, he dies so many goddamn times.
Andrew, what the...
Oh shit, 5th gen. Oh,
Thank God.
okay.
Thank fucking God.
Sorry, I left an abomination there. But Ash dies so many fucking times in the show. The show isn't about Ash. It's about Pikachu, and he's just there because he has the Pokeball. It's just horrible. Why do we even have Ash? They tried writing him out, and they just kept retconning it so he lives.
Just keeps not dying.
So you may be asking, why does anyone travel with Ash? And that's a good question. I'm legitimately curious. There's Misty, and you may think, oh, Misty, she's the first one. It's not about Ash. It's all about the bike. It always has been all about the bike. But, at least it's different with May, right? No, it's all about the bike. It's about the bike.
It's his whole pickup strategy is just ruin girls' bikes. Does it work?
Yes.
Seeing whose bike I want to take out.
At least it can't work a third time. Ash and Dawn have a legitimate friendship that, it did come from the bike, though. It came from the bike! You can say what you want about Serena and how everyone was really, really horny during XY. My official statement is that it's not a romantic move to re-gift someone a ribbon. That's not a good gift.
I hate Serena.
Keep going.
Alright. And there's Best Boy Go, who's had his head stuck in a gulpin. And you know what? They actually help out. They're wholesome enough. Go's a good fit because, he's good, and that's everything Ash is not.
But the most sexually explicit relationship we love in the show that everyone was there for?
I swear to God, if you say Ash Gary.
No, it's fucking Brock.
Hell yeah!
Because Ash was fucking Brock. Why do you think Brock stuck around for 20 seasons? None of the other companions did. Brock was always there for Ash.
Rose.
So, out of all of the harem choices Ash had, you got Ash, Serena, Dawn, blue-haired chick, Brock. Ash picks the goddamn Pokemon.
And not even the most sexually compatible one.
I mean, he could have at least picked Team Rocket. That
Hell
would have
yeah.
been much superior.
I mean,
What about Vaporeon?
I said that already. Anyway, I mean, with actions such as this, I think we can say, like, definitively, that Ash is a fucking sociopath. And we're gonna explore this a little bit more. First, by citing the episode "Bye Bye Butterfree." Fuck you, it's not sad.
Too soon!
Now, this episode starts with the wholesome hot air balloon ride. Where Brock starts loudly and inappropriately shouting pickup strategies to Butterfree. Teaching him about negging, Kino, you know all that shit. Butterfree goes, fucking fedoras his way through a herd of other Butterfree. And then Team Rocket decides they want to reboot the Deadliest Catch. And Butterfree stumbles its way on saving the team. But afterwards feels really guilty and wants to stay with them, mostly so he can get his dick wet. And they're trying to convince us that this is a very sad moment. You're forgetting that 6 episodes ago, Ash tried to trade Butterfree to this random dude he met on a boat. Like, look at that guy. He does not look trustworthy. And it's not like Ash was even trading it for anything good. It was for Eradicate. Fuck you, Ash, you piece of shit. Emotionally manipulative bastard.
In the infamous episode, Electric Soldier Porygon, Team Rocket, they go into the internet because that's what you did in the 90s. And they launch internet missiles because that's what you also did on the internet in the 90s.
It's just the War Games movie, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And Pikachu plays along and shocks the missiles, and that triggers about 50 lights a second, giving hundreds of kids seizures across Japan, which changed the animation industry forever. You can see Ash is directly commenting on it with, "You did it, Pikachu!"
And honestly, Ash just endangers every single one of his friends. Like, let's look at Charmander, for example. Charmander, if the tail goes out, literally dies. And he doesn't want to cover the tail or put it back in the Pokemon.
He covers everything but the tail.
Brock, seriously injured, and Ash just gets mad at him because he's staying in bed all day. And let's not forget about when he met Pikachu and nearly got murdered by a flock of crows.
Let's be honest, he knew that Spearow was going to attack. This was his plan.
That's why you throw rocks at him.
Yeah.
And then when the SS Anne is sinking, again, Charmander, that tail goes out, literally dies. Ash, no, not in the Pokeball. You gotta run away from the water. It's like, well, my Pokemon drowned? No. I gotta get out of here, not them.
And that's not even to go into all of his numerous instances of blackface. So, Ash is a jerk. He hasn't really succeeded at anything. And he engages in copious amounts of animal endangerment. Read the wiki article for that movie. Anyway, if Ash is the villain of the story, who does that reason the hero is? That's right, it's Team Rocket. And besides fighting the noted war criminal Ash Ketchum, they're doing a lot of good work, especially with keeping housing prices low. Because as we all know, the best way to lower housing prices is property crime. And goddamn do they commit a lot of property crime. Keeping Kanto affordable. Because this fucking world sure as shit isn't.
So we just need to go over how great Team Rocket is and how horrible Ash is to his Pokemon. We remember the first episode. When he first gets Pikachu, he uses gloves and, dental floss to, pull Pikachu along. Have you ever wrapped dental floss around your finger? That's pretty incredible.
He's just dragging Pikachu's ass on that hard gravel.
Now, let's look at what Team Rocket does. They use this soft, padded glove. Pikachu is loving this. Just look at that face. It's screaming from excitement. And then we use the best tested cages that are most comfortable. Chickens live their lives in these, and they love it. And then this net, it's the finest silk. Pikachu is literally screaming from excitement. So
that's not his tail.
So Team Rocket, absolute heroes of this story. So I'm going to go over some of their best plans and how they fall apart because of the horrible person Ash is. So, in one episode, they come across a Ditto who has a birth defect of when he transforms, the eyes don't change. But using their perfect persuasion techniques, they help Ditto overcome this block and turn into a perfect transformation. So they are already great therapists.
Yeah.
Then they have some maybe negative ideas about telling the local crime boss that Ditto is a different legendary Pokemon and not a Ditto that can transform into goddamn cannons. But
functioning cannons.
But because of functioning cannons, they end up getting blown away. So it was a great thing. They did a good job, but Ash came in and just kind of ruined the day. My next favorite episode is, of course, where they're in the Trade Federation. They're blockading Naboo. They're just trying to get the tariffs set so that they can make some money and help trade in the galaxy. But Ash hops into a fucking spaceship and blows them out of the sky. That's not a good plot. And of course, we have the infamous James's Jugs episode, where they enter a beauty pageant judged by Gary and Brock, and everyone, even Misty, votes for James. And then I think the episode that touched me the most as a childhood was, of course, when Team Rocket, up on their mountain in Whoville, who heard all the Who's down in Whoville opening their presents on Christmas morning, they just got so upset by all the noises and the jingles and the jangles, they had to go down and take all the presents away. But then, when threatened by the 3 legendary Pokemon, their hearts grew 3 sizes, and they knew they had to help. So because the 3 legendary birds were threatening to kill Ash, and do they run away like a normal people? No, they jump in and they help him out. They save the day. Without them, the world would have been doomed. And Ash probably would have been burned alive, but good job, Team Rocket.
Worth it.
And then they had to do this for other holidays too, because they realized that other holidays, such as Easter, the 4th of July, and Arbor Day needed their help too.
Team Rocket, this is true, by the way. Canonically, they're podcasters. That's their end game.
This is just every fucking millennial.
It's
podcasters.
time they got bored of chasing Ash. It's time to podcast.
But I think podcasting isn't what calls to them. I think it's gardening. Because you know who can dig a fucking tunnel? Team Rocket. So before we start this, though, Timon, not a Pokemon. Pumbaa, Pokemon. What were we talking about? Holes? The critique of the prison industrial complex? No, a movie about digging. So I watched Holes to do research on digging, and they dig 5 by 5 by 5 holes. It takes them the better half of the afternoon, but I realized pretty quickly that's not applicable here. Team Rocket's holes are a lot bigger, approximately 10 by 10 by 10, or 1,000 cubic feet of dirt. I don't know how much a cubic foot of dirt weighs, do any of you? Exactly. I Googled it, took a long time, and I got no good answers. So instead, I had to go out into the field and do my own goddamn research. So I went to where you could buy dirt, Home Depot. No, not that one, the good Home Depot. I went out, I bought some dirt. It's pretty light, easy to carry. Started a garden, didn't learn shit. Garden was terrible. So instead I started Googling, how much dirt can you shovel in an hour? Like 1,000 cubic feet of dirt, let's see how much you can do. AskedAnswers.com. Don't fucking consult Answers.com for anything in your goddamn life. First person we got was Dick Wimmers, former clinical psychologist, retired. Dick. You don't need to say former and retired. That's redundant. He said he can shovel about a ton of dirt in an hour, but he's 81. He could do more in his youth. Sure. Then we had Karen Atero, native Finn, not sure what the fuck that has to do. They can dig earth for 14 hours straight, which is more than their sons can do because they're lazy pieces of shit. And with this much toxic masculinity, it only reasoned that the next comment was from Vegeta. Now, are we sure they're not digging? Maybe they're using industrial equipment. Arbok can learn dig. No, they're not, because it's shown that James has a fucking shovel. So we're gonna figure this out. We decided through entirely bullshit math, you can do 7.5 shovels for 1 cubic foot. I don't know, I guess like David Wimmers told me this. 1,000 cubic feet at 7,500 shovelfuls, 3 shovels per minute, gives you 2,500 minutes of work to dig that 10 by 10 by 10 tunnel to trap the fucking twerp. And there are 2.5 members of Team Rocket because let's be honest, Meowth doesn't carry his own goddamn weight. So it'd be 1,000 minutes to dig the tunnel. The problem is they dig this shit in like the time it takes the gang to round the bend. So it stands to reason that they are, and this would explain why Ash hates them so goddamn much. Team Rocket are in fact a Doug trio.
Alright, well now that the anime has finally gotten rid of Ash and gone on to some new characters, we want to propose better characters that they could have picked. It's people who were better than Ash, who we would have watched an anime about.
There's Liko and Roy.
Oh, sure. No, keep going. Ignore
who
me.
have spent about 6 episodes and they still haven't gotten the gang together. They sail around on a ship with their ragtag crew and friends and have a good time. It's One Piece. Next, there is Richie, who we talked about, certified time traveler like William Shakespeare. He names his Pokemon. He's a good guy, but he's too similar to Ash, and we can't have that.
So, I think Nomura from the new games would probably be a good replacement for Ash. She's a good successor. She literally challenges every snot-nosed brat she sees to a Pokemon fight, and always wins because plot armor. So I think that would be a really good show, because that's what we do in the games. We just fight every single thing that moves. So, yeah, and she can terrestrialize. So this would be like 2,000 episodes. We'd love it.
Next is Jigglypuff. Now, I don't think this would be a reboot of Pokemon as much as just America's Got Talent hosted by Jigglypuff, where if your show performance is bad, she slaps the ever-loving shit out of you. Which, honestly, step on me, mommy.
And then, of course, my favorite choice would be goddamn Lance, the man himself. The bisexual icon that everyone fucking loves. I mean, he got one episode of like Pokemon Origins and it was the best thing I've ever seen on a Pokemon. So why don't they just make this like an HBO series? Like, I would pay for HBO of this. Unfortunately, I bet they would make some like trash final season that would just ruin its entire legacy. So I'm not sure we should go there, but I would be really excited about Lance.
One of the most hyped characters to give a show is Professor Oak. And here's the thing, most people want, young Professor Oak who's out, ambitious, discovering new Pokemon, building a Pokedex. That sounds fucking boring. I want modern day Professor Oak. Out there kind of down on his luck, just fucked his life. I mean, he's a professor in Pallet Town. This dude is not accredited anymore, let's be honest. He's just trying to do his best with the hand he's dealt, and a hot mom with a kid moves next door, so he just tries to get that kid out of town so he can fuck the mom. But I think the best option for a reboot would be to wrap it up into another project we've been working on with Crunchyroll. Jackie Chan Adventures. Just imagine. Oh, God damn it. Whatever. Just imagine if Uncle himself had to fight Hitmonlee. If Jackie Chan had a Hitmonchan. If Jade could finally die. It'd be goddamn art. Anyway, that's the panel. So, we'd like to give a special thanks to Gary Oak for teaching us that with good personal hygiene, you will not be smelt later. I can frankly say with this audience, that is not fucking true. I'll just Nurse Joy for teaching us that universal health care is something we can strive for. The Pokemon Musical for teaching us that Giovanni and Ash's mom were really good friends.
I'd like to thank Team Rocket for trying to normalize travel by hot air balloons.
I mean, it's fucking great.
Yeah, it's way better than cars. Like, there's no smog.
I'll do it. I'd like to thank Fanime for somehow having us here again.
Yeah, why do they give us so many panels? We don't fucking know.
It's because Andre's not doing enough panels. You need to do more panels, Andre.
Thank you, Andre.
We love you. Anyway, our next and final panel is tonight's Anime Survivor. It's at 8:30. It's in panel room 4. That's what it is. Just put anime characters in a Survivor situation. I'll try to figure out what the fuck's going on together as a team. Cthulhu will be there. I don't know if he'll win. He lost to Chika Fujiwara from Kaguya last time, so we'll see how that fucking goes.
We'll see.
I believe. Anyway, thank you all for coming, and have an absolutely fantastic rest of your Fanime.